beats.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Live. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hensey, joined today for the Yankees pregame by the man. We got Jay Lonzo. Sometimes he's Chef Lonzo, sometimes he's Sad Boy Lonzo, but today he's just Lonzo. How are we doing, Jalen?
Feeling good. Today's just Lonzo. I feel like there's no other explanation needed, you know?
Yeah, no, fair enough. Listen, before we get into today's pregame, shout out to everybody currently in the chat. We got Lori, Stevie, Joseph, Alex. We got Matt, Chris, John, Spencer, Kai, Daniel. Sorry if I missed anybody. Hope everyone is enjoying their Saturday morning / early afternoon. I say this every single week. Day games are the worst. I'm sorry. I'm just not a fan of day games whatsoever. They bother me. But let's get into today's lineup. Listen, we got DJ leading it off. Judge 2, Rougned Odor 3, Gleyber Torres cleanup, Mike Ford 5, Aaron Hicks 6, Sanchez 7, Frazier 8, and Gardner 9 with Taillon on the mound. What are we thinking about this lineup, Jalen?
You know what I think is kind of funny about this lineup? We spoke when Odor was acquired. We kind of like talked about how long we thought it would take for him to be hitting in the 3-hole, and here he is. I don't know how long has it's been? Maybe 3 weeks or 2 weeks.
About, yeah.
But it was only a matter of time before Boone put him in there. We've spoken at length about how soft this I guess Yankees brass is when it comes to resting players. Stanton's on an 8-game hitting streak. He's had 3 straight 3-hit games. He's been blistering the ball, and I understand that they want to not have him be injured, but like this is not the time to rest your guys when they're at their absolute like hottest.
But that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't make any
sense. It makes no sense. Listen, but shout out to Alex with the $5 dono. Appreciate you, Alex. You are a legend. Fun fact, Brett Gardner is 24th all time for Yankee Player Award. I think this is more of a result of just like games played rather than like actual performance. Because like, bro, if you play enough games, like your WAR is going to be pretty damn high. But listen, shout out to you for the $5 dono, my man. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with you as far as like resting Stanton goes. I said it in our group chat when the lineup was posted today. It's just disgusting that you would sit Giancarlo Stanton when he's on this major hot streak. I think it's probably the worst thing that you could possibly do, especially going up against the Tigers pitching staff. I understand the Yankees might be considering today like another easy win. That's why they're throwing out like the B lineup and just being like, oh, even this lineup could put up 10 runs. But I think it's stupid. I don't know. I'm not a fan with like sitting guys for no apparent reason just because they're scheduled off days. But regardless of that, I still think that this lineup could put up a bunch of runs today.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not even about that. It's like I understand that there's scheduled off days, but it just doesn't make that concept just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, especially for a full-time DH, like he does not exert any like energy for 98% of the game.
No, yeah.
So to like, I understand like some days he's not going to play 162 games. I understand that. Like sometimes he might be a little sore. Sometimes he might, he
He's a
might feel like he pulled
DH.
something a little bit. Like, but he's a DH, bro. Like the fact you have to sit there and pencil in dates for him to sit down, and I think this further proves like our theory that it's not just him or him and Judge that are like going to Boone or Cashman and saying like they want the day off, they want the days off, these scheduled days off. They are producing, they're playing and playing at a high level right now, and Aaron Boone is still like, nah, like gotta sit him. It's like
Yeah.
he almost can't help himself, bro. Like he's like he sees
No, it's like
Aaron
sick in the
Judge
head.
hit a bro, he sees them hit bombs and he's just like, all right, they seem like they're coming up on a day off. Like it doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
No, exactly. But shout out to Lori with the $5 dono. Appreciate you, Lori. You are a legend. Yanks get it done today, 8-2. Unhinged gets it done every day. You know what? That's actually so true. Like we get it done every single day. The Yankees don't. You know what I realized today though, Jalen? I think we have a little bit of a delay.
What's that? Oh yeah, no, we definitely do.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because I'll say something and then it's like a radio broadcast. You know, like when what's his name? Chris Russo is like interviewing somebody and be like, give me a take on that. And then there's like a little like 3 second pause. And like, yeah, there you go. So that's kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
what's happening today.
That's well. That's the that's like the future, or not the future. Like that's kind of like the current nature of sports media is like doing Zoom interviews and like
Oh yeah.
people talking on complete delays. But just yeah, my laptop was not cooperating this afternoon, so I'm here on my phone. We have a little delay. My voice is a
Bro,
little gone, but
it's
listen,
better than nothing.
like Lori said, Unhinged gets it done every single day, no matter what.
Exactly. Exactly.
Also, I think the delay's gone now because you seem
Is
to
it?
be in. It seems like it to me.
Not to me. Not to
Well,
me.
I no, I just took it. I just took like a brief second to answer. I didn't. It wasn't delayed.
All
Say
right,
something.
so all right. My favorite food is
French fries.
you gotta think of all right. 1, 2.
3.
All right, I don't think there's a delay anymore. Um, but shout out to BCNT Sports Cars. I believe this is our biggest fan as far as rewatching the live streams goes. Could be wrong, but I think he's the one. I think that's Nick. Fun fact: no one cares about Gardner's War. Round of applause to you, Nick. Let's go. That might be one of the best donos we've ever had. Just saying, shout out to you, my man. Alex with the $2 dono. Yankees win 14-5. He has this lineup
Wow.
putting up more runs than last night's lineup.
First of all, I think the delay's back, and it's funny though because I think I understand where Alex is coming from, just because, well, one, it does appear that the Detroit Tigers are an absolute joke of a franchise, just like we thought they were. I know AJ Hinch is like a really good manager, and there was all this hype about them going into or coming out of spring training, and then they had Akil Baddoo like coming off to a hot start, all these different things going on. They even opened up the season against Shane Bieber. They put up 3 runs on him in the first inning. All this stuff happened. They are a joke. Like they are terrible at defense. Their pitching sucks. They can't hit. So and then the Yankees have this tendency to like score more with their bad lineups. So
Yeah,
it's
it's weird.
possible. Is it Higgy in there or Gary
No, it's
tonight?
scary. Yeah, it's
Okay.
scary.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I feel like we do. I don't remember who said it in one of the streams. I believe it was last week. It just seems like we perform better with Higgy as our catcher. Like almost every game he catches. I know it's like Garrett Cole's in there, but for the most of his games that he catches, but he's been catching more and more and more, and it's not just Garrett Cole anymore. And he seemed I don't it's he didn't even hit last night, but just the whole team just at bats just seemed to click more for some
Yeah.
reason. I don't know if it has anything to do. Maybe it's a coincidence.
No, yeah. I mean, listen, what I do want to focus on now regarding today's game is the man on the mound, and that's Jameson Taillon. He's coming off, I believe, a decent start his last time out. I do want to pull up his game log from his last
It
outing, but
was
his
one of
stats,
those weird starts where he looked really good at the beginning and then
yeah,
had one terrible inning and it went left.
yeah. So his last start was at Cleveland, and he went 4 innings. That was the game when he looked really solid, and then completely imploded in the fifth, where he gave up the 4 earned runs. I believe that home run to Franmil Reyes. Yeah, and that kind of raised his season ERA to 6.23 in 4 starts. He's given up 12 earned runs in 17 innings. I think based on what we've seen in the past few days with Kluber having his breakout start, Herman having his breakout start, who else? Uh, Devi pitched decently, I guess. But I feel like it's only a matter of time until we see an outing like that out of Taillon. At least give me 6. 7 would be fantastic. But there's no reason Jameson Taillon can't come out today and absolutely massacre the Tigers lineup. Like, there's no reason why he can't.
Yeah, I mean, what doesn't really make a lot of sense to me is why. I mean, okay, I can understand it from Boone's perspective. I don't understand why Garrett Cole was taken out after the sixth inning, just
Yeah,
because you don't know what Tyon's going to give you as far as length today. And I know that like you want to get guys work. He wanted to get Wandy Peralta in there. I'm sure he wanted to get Sessa some work. So I get that from that perspective, but he had like 85 pitches. I felt like if you could have gotten him through 7, maybe you could have saved Sessa for today, in case it was a little bit of a closer game.
yeah,
But yeah, as far as Tyone goes, I do think that his start in Cleveland, while he did have that pretty atrocious fifth inning, it was encouraging. His stuff looked the best it's looked all year in the first 4 innings. I believe he didn't give up a hit until that fifth inning, or maybe like one.
yeah,
So I think that he can build off of that. Every other starter in the rotation has seemed to kind of turn the page and start looking a little bit more reliable. Kluber gave us a 7 inning start or almost a 7 inning start. Herman looked almost unhittable in his start against Baltimore.
yeah,
Um, Monty's kind of settled in a little bit. Like everyone's starting to show their like regular self. Like I don't expect Kluber to be a 1.5 ERA and I don't expect him to be a 6 ERA. He's settling somewhere in between, like the high threes, maybe low fours. Like I expect that from Kluber, at least in the beginning of the season. So I kind of expect a similar, uh, not even regression, like progression from Tyone. I expect him to kind of lower that ERA a significant amount over these next like 2 or 3 starts, and we'll start to see him go deeper into ball games too.
yeah. Listen, Jalen, regarding the Yankees pitching, there is something that they did announce today that I do want to bring up. And apparently Darren O'Day was placed on the 10-day IL with a right rotator cuff strain. And with that, they recalled Michael King. So I believe Michael King is going to be in the bullpen today. So maybe that gives them an option to work with something. But I find that kind of weird because O'Day looked like he was fine the other day against Baltimore, and that's the last time we've seen him. So I guess he aggravated something there, but it was retroactive to yesterday. So I guess that means he'll be back probably around when Voit returns, I guess.
Yeah, the injuries like that are weird, especially for the type of pitcher he is. Like you're not really sure how he hurt himself. Like it could have been during a game. It could have been during, uh, like treatment. And they use they use those weighted baseballs to train
Yeah.
now. There's a lot of different possible ways he could have hurt himself. I hope it's nothing serious because I do think he's an integral part of this bullpen. Um, but yeah, I'm not super worried about it right now. But yeah, no, that was definitely out of left field. But I mean, listen, knock on wood, things things have been fairly quiet as far as you know what, I'm not even gonna go down.
No, I'm gonna say it. Things have been fairly quiet on the injury front for once for the Yankees. You know what?
Yeah.
Like, bro, jinxes are not real. Like for once, I feel like we're like through the month of April and we haven't had like any sort of significant injuries. It's beautiful to see Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge both fully healthy in the same lineup, hot at the
Yeah.
same time, even if the Yankees don't want to play them on the same day. Like, I can't remember last time we saw a healthy Judge and Stanton both raking in the same lineup. It's a
It's
beautiful sight to
almost
see.
like it almost doesn't feel like it feels like the season hasn't started yet because we're like waiting for the catastrophic slew of injuries to just come in and like be like, okay, now the Yankee season started. But like
Yeah,
the fact that obviously Voit was hurt before the season began, so that doesn't really feel like an in-season injury. And he's gonna be back soon. Like he's gonna be back within the next week, or
yeah. Same with
that's what
Brittany.
we've heard. So right, and I just said like Sevy was obviously last year, so none of these injuries that happened feel like when we play a game, we win a game, and then after the game they announce so and so has to go on the IL. But we've had some scares. Like we've definitely had some scares
Yeah,
where Gio has come out of a couple of ball games. Aaron Judge has scared us at least 4 times this year already. But like we said, Aaron Judge preservation plan.
yeah, right. I do want to bring up Futai's comment because I think it's interesting. Hickey, when catching Kluber, Cole, Herman, 1 run allowed between them in their last starts. That's something. That's something there. Now I don't know if we look too deep into that and we're just like, well,
It's
it's like
certainly not nothing.
no, yeah. I think Higgy he calls a very comfortable game, and I think he makes the pitchers feel a little bit more relaxed. Even though Gary's defense this season hasn't been too bad, I don't know. But listen, Jalen, you know what route I want to go down now with you. Aaron Hicks. Now, if we started off yesterday's game, you're like, I'm done being an Aaron Hicks apologist. He went on to have a pretty decent game, I guess. He had the solo shot. He had the double, which I think is probably a ball that's caught 9 times out of 10. They were very generous with that double call. But I think you kind of worded it perfectly when you said before I hop back on the Aaron Hicks train, I want to see more than just a solo home run every 10 games. Like show some sort of consistency at the plate, right?
Yeah, listen, I do still like the player. I think he's a good dude. I want to root for him. It's just I'm done like assuming that he's gonna be the best option for the Yankees in center field. Like, and it's funny because as soon as I said that, he hits a home run. But like, even in seeing that home run, I was like, okay, like, what else? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he hasn't looked
Oh
good in
yeah.
the field at all this season, which is something that was supposed to be a huge part of his game. It has been for the Yankees. He's been a great defender in center field. He has not been a good defender at all this year in center field. I don't know what the stats are behind that. Like, what you can just see it. He doesn't get good angles on balls. He doesn't have a great throwing arm anymore because of the surgery. So like he had that one game when Garrett Cole started against I think I'm pretty sure it was against Tampa, and he made like 2 errors in the same inning.
Yeah.
I'm just if you're gonna not hit, you have to make it up in the field. That's my thing. I'm okay if guys don't hit. Like Clint Frazier, I was never mad at Clint Frazier. I think he needed to sit a couple days, and Mike Talkman should have played over him. But as long as Clint was balling out in left field or right field, wherever they put him, I was fine because that's where it shows that your head's still in the game. You're still, and honestly, it's funny because Clint Frazier was somebody who you would probably expect the opposite in past years of like he's struggling at the plate and he just can't get out of his own head, and it shows up in left field, and it's been the
Yeah.
complete opposite. And now his bat is starting to turn around. So
Yeah.
I I just need to see a lot more from Aaron Hicks before I'm back on that
Yeah, I
bandwagon.
would have to agree. The only issue is that's kind of why I'm confused as to why they trade Mike Talkman now, of all times. When before Mike Talkman was traded, even Clint Frazier didn't look like he was coming around in the outfield. So you essentially traded your fourth best outfielder during a time when 2 of your starting outfielders were under question. Right now, Clint obviously is looking a little bit better after a home run in the Baltimore series and then better at bats there, and then also a home run last night. I think Clint is on the verge of breaking out. Hopefully Aaron Hicks is in that same boat. But like you also have that thought in the back of your mind, like what if neither of them can actually turn it around? The next best option on the bench is Brett Gardner. We always tout the Yankees of having such a great outfield depth, and they're kind of lacking now. Unless you want to go down to the minor leagues and look at like Estevan Florial, who I'm still not that high on. I still don't think he could hit a breaking ball. but I don't know. I'm just not that confident in the Yankees outfield depth compared to years past.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Tauchman was that perfect fourth outfielder.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, they could look at it like Esteban Florial might be looking really solid in the alternate side, so maybe they are a little bit more confident in him. If anything has, if they need to dip into that pool of players, um, but also maybe I don't think this was their intention, but it also could provide a little spark for Clint, because everyone was saying at the beginning of the season, like, stop taking him out of the lineup just because he's struggling. If you're gonna, again, they had no obligation to come out and say Clint is our starting left fielder. They had no
yeah,
need to say that unless they really felt that way. So if you're gonna come out and say that, he needs to go out there and be your starting left fielder for real and not for a couple days or just on opening day. Like, he needs to be in there every single time. Maybe a rest day here and there, but he needs to play the majority of the games. And he wasn't. He was split. He was basically platooning with Guardy. So when you look at it now, he was struggling, and everyone knows that. But because Guardy was struggling, and I think this is the only reason, because Guardy was struggling, they were like, okay, we're still going to put Clint in there. We're still going to pencil him in there, even against a
yeah,
righty. Like, and it's paid off. He's starting to
yeah,
look like he's back on time. He's starting to hit the ball hard again, not just popping it up. He still needs to straighten a couple things out, but he's on the right path. So
yeah.
maybe this trade was like another solidification to him. Like, okay, this is still my job, and he just feels a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. But Jalen, based on today's game, who are the Yankees going up against anyway? Let me check real quick. They're going up against Spencer Turnbull. So listen, do we
That's like a
have any?
country, like,
No, right? Like I feel like I'm going to like a rodeo in Kentucky. But do we have any predictions as to maybe someone is the player to watch in today's game for the Yankees?
yeah, my player to watch would be Giancarlo Stanton if he was in the lineup. But
I know it's so stupid, bro. Like, you can't sit a guy when he's that hot. You really just can't. It's so stupid, and especially standing in the 2 hole, who's been so dominant. It pisses me off a little bit. But this is exactly why you need to be able to play Stanton in the field, and this is nobody's fault besides the Yankees organization. We know Giancarlo Stanton wants to play the field. He asked all spring training to do it, so this would have been the perfect day to put him in left, put Clinton center, and give Hicks an off day. I don't like. Is that crazy to think about? You need Stanton's bat in that
no,
lineup.
I
If you're
mean,
not comfortable with Judge in right, I'm sorry. You need to put Stanton somewhere.
or you could have put Stanton in right and just gave Judge DH. Like, there's just so many different options that you could have went if you at least tried Stanton in one of the two corner outfield positions in spring training, but you
Yeah,
didn't even get a look at it, and it's very frustrating. But as far as an X factor, I'm looking at Gary Sanchez today. I'm not sure how he's going to perform. He has not been performing well recently, ever since pretty much the first like couple series of the year.
mm,
He's looked okay behind the plate as far as defensively, so I'm not really too worried about that. But I just want to see how he looks, because if I'm being honest, to me this is Higgy's job to lose,
I'd
and we're
agree.
only a
Yeah,
month in. I feel like that says a lot. The fact that we're only 1 month in, and Higgy has put himself in a really good position to say I deserve the majority of the reps. Um, And listen, I was opposed to that in the offseason. You can go search in our chats. I was very like I spoke very authoritatively saying if you go into the season with Kyle Higashioka as your starting catcher and it wasn't addressed in a trade, free agency, whatever, that's an issue. But not if the guy's performing like this. Like, if he's elevating the performance of our pitchers the way that it seems like he is, and he's bringing a bat as well.
yeah.
Like, the dude is raking.
No, I
So
know.
I'm all for it. Whoever, like I always say, whoever it is, I don't care who's in the jersey as long as they get the W. So
Yeah, listen. This might be a little bit corny, but my player to watch today is Clint Frazier. Like I've been saying for weeks now, bro. I mean, actually, I would say I would probably say I started saying this a couple days ago, but he's really on the verge of breaking out. Like, I think we're any day away from seeing Clint having like a 3-for-4 day with like 2 bombs. He's about to burst. And his at bats look so much better. I think it's only a matter of time. So watch out for Clint Frazier today. But shout out to Ruben Cruz with the $5 dono.
Oh,
Appreciate you, my man. Jalen, I know I'm sorry. The delay's brutal. But I said the same thing, Jalen. Just alternates Judge and Stanton between right field and DH. They are both good right fielders. And I wish they would do that too. I would love to see Stanton in the outfield. They just never seem to give him the opportunity. And to be honest with you, if they're not going to give him a chance this year, as the years go by and he gets older and he has less outfield experience, I don't see them moving him out there. So maybe his days in the outfield are just about done. I don't know.
yeah, this seems like the last couple of years that they can be experimenting with this. And yeah, Giancarlo Stanton was he didn't play left field in Miami, so if you don't want to put him in left field, because I also Yankees left field in Yankee Stadium is not easy to play. So sure, then don't put him in left field. But he played a pretty solid right field, not only in Miami, but he also played pretty solid right field when he was in a Yankee in 2018, when Aaron Judge was out for an extended period of time. So I'm all for that. I was gonna as for Clint though, I don't know if you saw, uh, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were at the Yankee game yesterday, and they both like shouted out Clint Frazier on their post about the game, which was pretty interesting. I guess he like signed a couple hats and gave it to them,
Interesting.
and it was just like very funny to see Blake Lively tagging Clint Frazier in an Instagram post.
Is Blake Lively a country singer?
Yeah, like country pop. She's also an
Oh,
actress.
oh, gotcha. I know Ryan Reynolds is an actor, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
that
bro, I'm tuned in. But Pat, am I the only person who feels like some dark times are ahead of the Yankees in the upcoming years? Uh, I disagree. I think, listen, regardless of how like right now looks for the Yankees and how maybe like we're pessimistic regarding this core, I never think that the Yankees are going to be a team that are going to undergo a full rebuild. I think even when this core maybe starts to see their downfall, then we're just going to have like guys like Jason Dominguez come up and he's going to make waves and then they're going to make more acquisitions. I don't think there's ever going to be a time where the Yankees are like Deller. What is it? Cell dwellers. That's a term, right? I don't
sure,
think they're ever going to be cell dwellers.
sure.
But yeah, they're always going to be making moves to keep them in contention. If anything, we'll see like a 2016 season where like they retool at the trade deadline, and then it's like a 1 month rebuild, right?
Yeah, I don't. I feel like at any point the Yankees could do something that completely transforms their team. So I'm not really like I do think this core's window is very slim. Like within the next couple of years, this core has this window. Sellers was, yeah. But aside from this core, like there's gonna be a new core soon. Like we're not one of those organizations where we have to worry about a core taking 15 years. Like,
Yeah.
so
Let me ask you a question though, Jalen. So I would say the original Yankees core that we looked at was kind of Severino, Sanchez, Glaber, Judge. I would probably set it there. Out of those guys, do we see any of those maybe taking place in another core for the Yankees as well? So, like, let's say the next core is, I don't know, Dominguez, Devi, Schmidt, and throw in someone else, Austin Wells. Do we think that maybe like Judge or Torres or even Sanchez maybe is gonna like be a part of that core as well?
I think Gary Sanchez is not going to be a Yankee past his contract, his 6 years. He might not even get if he doesn't play well the rest of this year. He might not even get tendered at the end of this year.
Yeah.
Um, but I think Judge is going to be a Yankee for life, just because I just can't see them pass. Like I said, they look at the Yankees front office as at least ownership looks at the Yankees like a business and less as a baseball team that they want to make competitive. Um, Aaron Judge is too marketable and too much of a presence in New York and in their media and sells weight. They built a part of the outfield stands in like to honor him, not like in a
No, I know.
memorial way, but just like I cannot think of another time a player has gotten that honor in Yankee Stadium. Like that is some next level like we are committed to you stuff. And that was
No,
only after a
yeah.
year, bro. He only
Wasn't that
had
in
he was
his rookie
he was
season?
I think it might have been actually.
I think it was, or was it 2018 where they put in the judge? I mean, sometimes I think,
It might have been to like start 2018.
yeah, maybe, but like sometimes I think we don't really acknowledge how significant the judges' chambers are at Yankee Stadium. Like, I don't think there's another stadium in baseball that has like a little section dedicated to one player. Like, Aaron Judge has his own chambers in right field at Yankee Stadium. That's unreal.
They do or they used to when Felix Hernandez pitched, he had like there was a section that like all wore yellow shirts and like
Yeah.
waved their little bandanas and there's little stuff here and there, but there's not like, bro, the Yankees literally built a judge's chambers in
Yeah.
right field. And it's just ironic because I know I keep mentioning this interview that Clint did, that podcast, and he was just talking about how like hard it was when he was struggling defensively, and Aaron Judge was hurt and he was playing right field terribly, and people were out there. They bought tickets in right field, especially in the Judge chambers, to see Aaron Judge, and they had to watch Clint throw the ball over the field. But
Are
yeah,
you
no,
talking about the podcast that he did when he was like sitting on that white couch? I don't know the name of
I
the
didn't.
podcast.
I don't know the color of the couch, but
Oh.
he was. It's fairly. It was like it was recorded. I think like in spring training, and it's with like Marcus Stroman's homeboy, like he's like a baseball player. He used to play
Okay.
baseball, and then he raps now.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think I saw it too. Actually, if we're talking about the same interview, Frazier was very candid and open regarding like
Oh yeah,
his experience in the organization. But so Jalen, you have Gary Sanchez having a big day. I have Clint Frazier having a big day. Are we expecting a good day out of Taillon?
I'm not expecting a big day out of Gary. I just want to see his body. Like when I say X factor for him, I'm not necessarily predicting a big day. I just want to see
Oh,
how he responds to how things are going. If we're talking about a big day, I think Tyon's gonna have a big day. To answer your question,
there you
I think
go.
Tyon's gonna give us 6 solid innings. I just think this is the lineup. If you're going to have your first like marquee start and give the Yankees some length, this is the lineup to do it against. The Tigers are the worst offense in baseball. Um, so and you can build off of your start last week. So
Yeah. I think Tyon's gonna have a solid day. I think it's definitely gonna be better than his last start, just because, like you said, he's going up against the Tigers lineup, and also I think we've seen signs of improvement from him. And I think he's just gonna be progressing forward from here. But do we have a final score prediction, Jalen?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 5-2. I don't think this lineup is gonna put up a lot of runs.
Okay, I'm gonna go 7-1. I don't think they score as many runs as they did yesterday, but I do think that they put up 7. I think the Tigers only score 1. I think we're in for a good game. Chat, I know we usually cheers for the pregame. However, yesterday we didn't cheers for the pregame, and they ended up having their most dominant victory of the season. So let's not do it again today. Kind of see what happens. But that is going to wrap things up for today's pregame. Thank you everyone for stopping by. We will be live directly after the game for the postgame, but shout out to my recaps. Love you, Derek. Derek is in the chat. But we will see you guys after the game for the post game. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you do know when we go live after the game. You guys know the deal. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. Enjoy the game. Let's go, Yankees. Peace.